I would like to have accountability for the COVID era, and I'd like to have accountability for the fact that the CDC has known since 1999 that vaccines cause autism, and they've covered it up for 26 years. How do we begin to have accountability?
What do you make of that? Do you think that they've known since 1999, and why do you think he says that?
I believe that they've known it at least since 1999. That's my good colleague, Dr. Toby Rogers, when he testified before a Senate subcommittee. And what he was referring to was thimerosal, the mercury-containing preservative that used to be in the Hep B shot, the DTaP shot, the Haemophilus influenza B shot, shots that were given to infants as young as first day of life contained mercury in them. And the government had the audacity to say that there was no link to the autism epidemic, even though they knew it as clear as the nose on their face. They saw the results by a researcher in the CDC, a Dutch researcher named Thomas Verstraeten, showed that those kids that were exposed to that in the first month of life were 10 times more likely to get an autism diagnosis. And they knew that as of July 1999.
And so they've taken thimerosal out of those vaccines, correct? Or am I wrong?
It wasn't until Secretary Kennedy actually banned it, removed it from the flu shot. The CDC claimed that they took it out of infant vaccines. That's not true. They just mixed it around. They put it in the prenatal flu shot. They put it in the flu shot that were given to 6-month-old and 7-month-old infants. So it was more of a shell game. And it wasn't until, Secretary Kennedy's actions of just a few months ago that now pregnant women are no longer exposed to thimerosal when they get a flu shot.
So they did take it out of some of the vaccines, but you're saying it was more of a shell game. They were moving it. They didn't really.
It was an effort between 2001 and 2003 to take it out of those 3 vaccines I mentioned before, but then they added the flu shot to the schedule, and they added the flu shot to the schedule to pregnant women during any trimester of pregnancy. And so now infants, prenatal, they were getting exposed to mercury much earlier than before in a very, 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 very delicate developmental phase.
on live to Jim.
Hey, hi, everybody. We got a power pack show today. The hair is looking good today. I feel good about it. I feel very good about it.
Feeling very confident about it, Jim.
It makes me feel confident. As Todd Glass said, if my hair looks good, I feel like there's nothing I can't accomplish.
Is that true?
He said that, yes, which I agreed with. I'm not saying that to make fun of him. I agree
I've never
with
accomplished anything, Jimmy.
I could accomplish anything. Well, speaking of accomplishing things, so this was trending today on the Twitters, and I wanted to show you how stuff has shifted in the last 25 years, or 30 possibly. So she was 10. How old is Britney Spears now? She's 38. Oh, she's in her 40s already. So this is back in the 90s. So people, this was making the rounds, and it's really creepy. I don't know. We'll talk. Let's play it and then we'll talk about it.
44. She's
44. So this was 34 years ago. Okay. Which was 1996? Is that when this was? Okay, here we go.
At the tender age of 10, Britney was already using her budding sexuality to attract an audience.
First of all, the woman who's narrating this doesn't realize what she's saying. At the age of 10, she was already using her sexual. A 10-year-old girl doesn't have sexuality.
What is this from?
This is some kind of documentary.
It looks like she's going to be performing on Star Search if it's with.
Well, yeah, this video with the woman narrating is. I think it's from a documentary called Britney's Secret Childhood.
Boy, she was a real conniving mastermind. This.
Oh, she's
Spears,
a real. Oh, yeah.
Using her sexuality to lure Ed McMahon.
So watch this.
At the tender age of 10, Britney was already using her budding sexuality to attract an audience.
Did you see how they had to slow down and put it in slow motion to make it look like she was trying to move in some kind of sexy way instead of just being a performer who's dancing to music?
By the way, that's not sexy at all. Nothing about her outfit is sexy.
Nothing.
The dance was not sexy.
No, nothing.
Last time I saw this egregious was the History Channel Saddam Hussein documentary about what they do these documentaries about how we killed a bad man.
Yeah.
And they show even his daughter told a friend that she wanted to cut her school teacher's vagina out. And it cuts to her at a wedding, a girl this age, who's his daughter, and she's dancing like this, but they made it all slow motion so she'd look evil while they're doing it.
That's what this is. Watch that. Yeah.
At the tender age of 10, Britney was already using her budding sexuality to attract an audience. But when the Star Search cameras turned on, Britney was transformed. Pouring on a sexy southern charm, the judges had...
What on earth?
Pouring on a sexy southern charm. What are you... Does the woman...
A woman's doing this.
A woman
is doing this narration.
Do you even hear what you're saying?
Yeah, well, she's British, so,
Wait, this is like the podcast Kurt's supposed to start called Do You Hear Yourself?
I know. I'm behind on starting it. It's
really behind.
Pile it up.
Never seen in a package so small.
She comes out in a very provocative gown with high heels and all of a sudden that little girl.
I mean,
nothing was provocative about the thing she had on.
Nothing provocative at all.
Who's this creep?
I don't know who this creep is.
Knocks you.
Maybe the people in the chat can tell us. It looks like Gene Simmons is doing he's doing an undercover show.
It looks like Joe Franklin from the Joe Franklin Show. He was also a creep.
But it does look like Gene Simmons is on Undercover Boss.
Oh, is this where you make the Kiss merchandise? Oh.
Your ass.
There is nothing.
Okay, hang on.
With high heels and all of a sudden that little girl knocks you right off your ass.
What? A 10-year-old girl who you are sexualizing knocks you off your ass? No, that means that you are a PDF file, or you have
that. They always blame
the
kid. They always think the kid is like they know what they're doing.
Oh, the kids
know. It's a kid.
Did you hear Quentin Tarantino? Oh, I should have played that for you.
Yeah, he sent it to me, and I had never heard it before. I have never heard it.
It was on Howard Stern, and he's saying that the girls who had who got assaulted by Roman Polanski, the 13-year-old girl, 13. Not only did they have SEX, they had anal.
No, he drugged her. He caused
drugged her
first.
Drugs her first. And Quentin Tarantino says those 13-year-old party girls, they know what they're doing. 13-year-old party girl?
He said that they were dating. He said the guy, that Roman Polanski and the girl, no, that she met him that day.
You mean
she just met him that day?
You mean she's a decade too young to go to a nightclub? You mean those kind of party girls? A decade too young. Anyway.
I've never heard of that in my life. Like it's a thing.
So let's get back to this.
There is nothing more interesting to adult men than the development of an adolescent female. We are hardwired to recognize that.
You heard the.
Again, I don't know.
She's not adolescent. She's 10.
She's 10. And she's not developed.
Oh, and look at this sexy boy next to her. He knows what he's doing. What is wrong with these people, dude?
She's not developed. Who is that guy? There's nothing more. Hang on. All right, let's just start it from the top. This is crazy.
At the tender age of 10, Britney was already using her budding sexuality to attract an audience. But when the Star Search cameras turned on, Britney was transformed, pouring on a sexy southern charm the judges had never seen in a package so small.
She comes out in a very provocative gown with high heels, and all of a sudden that little girl knocks you right off your ass.
There is nothing more interesting to adult men than the development of an adolescent female. We are hardwired to recognize that.
I can think of a million things.
The thing this guy just said, for example.
Yeah, like that to me, that's more interesting than the development of an adolescent female child.
We got to get a clip of Gavin Newsom going. Interesting. Just really interesting.
That's really interesting. It's interesting. Yeah.
It's just interesting. It's just interesting. You said
it's just interesting. Could you put a mark in the Slack to get that on the soundboard? It's just interesting.
You know, also, what's interesting is that these men feel no embarrassment of what they're revealing.
So this is a different time. This is about 25 years before #MeToo.
Is that why I'm not giving Me Too credit for jack shit since CAA came up with that? But look at those glasses. That's the time of the Dahmer glasses. And I don't know what it is about that frame of glasses, but boy, they were going nuts back then.
I think Stephen King wears those kind of glasses.
Yeah.
Here we go.
You have the most adorable, pretty eyes. Do you have a boyfriend?
No, sir.
How about me?
There's a lot.
What? Why would you say that?
Oh, Ed McMahon's a very successful man.
Is that back? Is that back in the day, Kurt? Is that back in the day when old men said that kind of creepy stuff?
I've heard that's your little boy. Now I remember like little kids. I remember my church like, oh, she thinks you're her boyfriend. Like it'd be a little girl. It wasn't me saying shit like that. There are people that said that, but what that is like. First of all, what is the sexy outfit here? This looks like something a little kid wears. Big frilly sleeves and a frilly dress.
Big bow, yeah, and tights. She has tights on, white tights.
And it's not like she's a grown woman dressed like that, which I guess would make it like dirty something. It's appropriate for her age, 10 years old, to dress like a girl. This is why I'm for burqas, Jimmy. That's how you protect her.
A lot of sexual energy that is oozing out of that little girl. She can't possibly manage that kind of sexuality. So as she grows up,
what in the hell are these people talking about? A
oozing out of her.
A 10-year-old girl's sexuality is oozing out. I mean, did she talk?
Who's that?
Is she talking about her in that video? So now, I mean, I'm going to give the most generous reading of this. Maybe she's talking about something else. Maybe she's not talking about her 10-year-old performance.
No, she's probably a handler. If I had to guess, because that's how
you're going to see this split between Britney, sexual Britney, and then there's Britney, and those.
So,
right on here, dude. The split, the beta sex kitten programming the CIA developed over the years. That's what that means. Do you know that's what that means? The split. So there's the forward-facing personality, the beta sex kitten alter, and they can keep torturing more into kids. They don't even need to do the torture no more. They can do it with electronics.
So now you know why she was messed up. So this was trending on Grok. The resurfaced footage from her 1992 performance on the talent show includes judges and narrators using highly sexualized language, such as calls of provocative gown, sexy southern charm, prompting widespread outrage over how adults viewed the young performer. Posted on February 8th, it drew over 30,000 likes as people called out the predatory tone and connected it to Spears' later industry pressures, including her conservatorship, which they just, I guess it ended in 2021. I guess they had her in the conservatorship for 13 years.
Because she's an old MK asset. So when they said free Britney, they didn't understand what they were saying, but she is a slave and she's still under the control. All they do is switch up handlers. They get new guys in there that give her drugs. All these people have a handler, all of them. I can't remember the one for her, but there's only a few people in the industry that do all of it.
Did you read her 2023? I didn't know she had she detailed her early exploitation in her 2023 memoir. I didn't know that.
J.R. Sweet, he has a book called Mormon Monarch, and he talks about what they did to her at the old Grove. Not that there's probably still using the Grove for that, but yeah, no, she was programmed there. 1992, I was a kid, so that's why I wouldn't have noticed this.
So
I was only in 7th grade.
Here she is. I guess she's 17 in 1999. So where you go? You gone? Or it's got to go? Or it's got things happening. But let's watch this.
One subject we didn't discuss. Mm-hmm. What was that? Everyone's talking about it.
What?
Well, your breasts.
She's 17. Holy cow. Whoa.
You seem to get furious when a talk show host comes up with this subject. Okay, in general, what do you think about breast implants?
Whoa. A 17-year-old. She's asking her, whoa. Whoa. But this is over in Europe where everybody's so much more advanced. Aren't they? Kurt, did you see this? Did you see this, Kurt? Watch this.
One subject we didn't discuss. Mm-hmm. What was that? Everyone's talking about it.
What?
Well, your breasts.
My breasts.
You seem to get furious when a talk show host comes up with this subject. Okay, in general, what do you think about breast implants?
Where was this?
She was 17 years old. This was in England in Europe where everybody's so much more advanced. Because, they don't call them pedophiles over there. They call them judges, teachers, and chat show hosts.
Yeah, and pedophiles. They say pedo.
Rogue Kite says, these pervs say this like Britney wasn't given choreography and taught to perform in this way. This isn't natural. This is what a Hollywood creates. And every day, little kids watch it on their screens and imitate it because this is how people understand the world.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me give credit to dingback feminists that I've always attacked, because if it hadn't been for the recent times of doing this creepy ass shit to boys suddenly,
a
bunch of people probably would have never noticed how weird this is, because this was ubiquitous. I mean, I would have been in 7th grade. Oh, that hero Kid Rock has a whole song about how he likes a girl who's 14 or some crazy shit. Remember that? That's Kid Rock lyrics.
Oh, it was a lyric that a guest performer in one of his songs said.
Well, he also has a song called "I Am the Bull God." Here's a song. Remember how popular that was?
No, I don't.
Okay,
but,
that guy who was interviewing, his name is Ivo Nai, and he was 53 years old at the time that he was interviewing her.
Wow.
Well, that's what men are interested in. You would think World War II and submarines and shit.
Yeah.
But no.
But Kurt, thank God Britney's parents didn't have anything to do with any of this on any level. So they're off the hook. Isn't that nice?
Yep.
The world
just doing their best.
The world treats her like a product, and every other product comes with a warranty from the manufacturer. You put a broken appliance on the showroom floor, buyer beware. It's your own fault for buying it. But
yeah, well, if you put your kids in auditions and you put them on stage, congratulations on trafficking your children. That is what you did.
If only we could admit once and for all how insanely widespread it is for adults to sexualize little girls. It's everywhere in our culture, and yet we believe that sexual abuse is rare and unusual. So girls must be crazy, like Britney, like Virginia Giuffre, like so many girls.
Like Kanye.
Man,
like Kanye, too. They're doing it to all of them. All the Disney kids.
This is so disgusting, and yet it was accepted as perfectly normal. A decade before, these sick PDF files thought it was normal to put a 10-year-old Brooke Shields on the cover of Playboy. I remember that. I remember
Julian Dore brought it up.
I remember how is this okay? I was a kid when they did that. I was, I don't know, in high school. And I remember thinking, is that okay?
Yeah. Well, yeah, well, the authorities back then, it's funny how much authority has degraded to the point where people are noticing the amount of, because I'd tell you the whole 80s and most of the 90s, none of it was okay. And all the things you might have remembered as being okay were probably not okay.
So you know, these are, this is like a, yeah.
Entertainment. Did you hear how they were talking about like framing, just the way they do about like Syria or Iraq, but
yes,
about a
the
child.
framing.
Yes, that's what the magic is right there. That's Hollywood magic. It's that. Just hypnotizing a thing, just a thing, right? Or that guy who was Larry Nassar, who was assaulting, and he would do it right in front of their parents and pretend he was doing some kind of therapy.
Yeah.
Right in front of the parents in plain sight. That's how they do you. You're not going to look at a place you already thought was fine, right?
Wow. I can't. Wow.
Hey, guess what? We found out George Bush the first ate a baby, and that's accepted as normal because people still give a shit about the Super Bowl, which is fixed, idiots. It's all fixed. The whole thing is fixed. They would never allow you. They hate chance and random elements. They hate it. The people that run gambling, they actually hate chance. They like it for you.
I'm just, I mean, I don't, I'm just hoping, I mean, that, I mean, I lived through that. I remember when they were taking upskirt photos of Britney getting out of a car.
I remember guys had shoe mirrors and they were taking videos of people in the mall. That became a trend for a little bit.
But I'm talking about her specifically. They did that. And then other internet shows would post them on their websites. Look at her. We got a naked picture of Britney up her skirt, and then people would post that.
South Park had that episode where they
made fun of the people the way they were treating Britney. They weren't making fun of Britney, right?
No.
Yeah, they were making fun of how the culture and how they treated her.
It was a human sacrifice, and they go, we have to sacrifice children for the corn to have a good corn harvest.
Yeah.
She's a human, and so they're making a joke, but a lot of jokes you'll notice have turned out to be like prophecies.
Yeah,
and true. And when you make the jokes, you're noticing something. So they noticed it.
So they noticed
These are human sacrifices, just like the Aztecs. Queen for a day, king for a day, and then we sacrifice you. We still do it now. They've done it multiple times in front of you. But everybody goes, oh, what's with these actors? And what's with these rich kids? And, oh, they have it all, but they throw it. No, they were born and bred for this purpose, to hypnotize morons. And it works.
Okay, we have a guest. I'm sorry. I just
who's coming?
I'm a little over. We're going to talk about this guy's a real scientist who connected vaccines with autism in a peer-reviewed paper. So Matthew Cormier. So that's exciting. So we're going to bring him on.
We need autistics. They made them on purpose because they're great consumers. You can program their sexuality for what you want it. They focus only in their lane. They only focus on what they're told to focus on, right? They're like innocent but smart enough to do this tech work, and 30% of them never learn to drive a car. Think of the perfect citizen of the future. I'll bet it'd be worth it to know you caused autism and we got to beat China. China might have more autism than us. We got to beat them.
Yep. Okay.
All right, bye.
All right, buddy. We'll be right back. So we, because of COVID, became aware of a lot of things in medicine that I wasn't. That the mainstream medical publications, like the Journal of American Medicine, all the big ones, BMJ, they're all corrupted and co-opted by big pharma money, just like medical boards are, just like medical research is. They all work together with Fauci, and he's the one who divvied out the research fund. So it was one big cabal of money that corrupted the whole medical system. And so then you get into the idea of, oh, well, as RFK's been telling you, that the childhood vaccine schedule is now at 72 shots. People, when I tell people that, their jaws go on the floor. And then that most of those were never tested against a placebo. Like that, these are facts. And it kind of blows their mind. And so now I want to, we just had a whistleblower on who said they discovered that vaccines had a connection to autism at the CDC, and they suppressed it. So you can go watch that video. I just dropped it today. But now we have on another gentleman who wrote a paper in a peer-reviewed publication. His name is Matthew Cormier. He is an independent medical researcher, author, known for his peer-reviewed work on the potential link between vaccine-induced viral reactivation and autism spectrum disorder. His research published in the journal, here it is, published in the Journal of Independent Medicine, proposes a novel hypothesis that vaccines may trigger autism by reactivating latent viral infections in susceptible individuals. Welcome to the show, Matthew Cormier. Hi, Matthew.
Hi, Jimmy. How are you? Thank you very much for having me on.
I'm doing great. Thanks for coming on. So now this is the journal that you got published. Now, for just before we even get into it, why would they publish this if it's a peer? I thought they don't they always find a reason not to publish this kind of work. How did you get it published?
This is a newer journal, and it's established by the Independent Medical Alliance. It's called the Journal of Independent Medicine. And really, the focus of this journal and of IMA as a whole is to get away from censorship, like you talked about, like the corruption between pharmaceutical companies and the established mainstream, what's considered legacy medical journals, and start getting good research out there that doesn't adhere to the conventional narratives.
Oh, so that makes a lot more sense, because my spidey senses go up. I'm like, wait a minute, they wouldn't normally. So that's now that does make sense. Okay, so this is an independent. So it says it right in their name, Journal of Independent Medicine. So this is new. These are doctors, I guess, and they figured out that the normal medical journals are corrupted by money in many different ways. One of them is big pharma, and so and so they started this. So is that correct, or do you not know?
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's pretty much the premise. Right now, it's run by a gentleman by the name of Joseph Verone, who I have a tremendous amount of respect for, and the entire organization, the Independent Medical Alliance. I can't say enough good things about them.
Okay, great. This is really great to find out that something like this exists and that it happened. And so now take us through what you found out about vaccine-induced viral reactivation and an autism spectrum disorder.
So essentially, the goal of my research was to establish a causal mechanism on the potential link between vaccines and autism. There's been countless reports of parents coming forward claiming that their child received a vaccine or a series of vaccines and went on to develop progressive autism. They were never the same again. But that's not the case for all children. There's a lot of children that receive vaccines and they're relatively fine afterwards. So the goal of my research was to establish the variable. Who are the children at risk? What's the mechanism? In order to do that, the first aspect of my investigation was to remove vaccines from the equation. Let's take vaccines out of the discussion. What is autism? What causes autism? And when I started investigating that and going through medical literature at the confirmed environmental risk factors for autism, one aspect and one risk that kept jumping out was viral infections. There's research dating back to, I'm sorry, go ahead, Jimmy.
No, go ahead. Well, I was just going to say that I was always under the impression, or most recently was under the impression, that it was brain inflammation that caused autism. Would you agree with that?
Yes,
okay.
Essentially, yes.
Okay, so go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No problem. Okay, so going back to the 1970s, there was really important research conducted and documented showing an established link between rubella virus infection in pregnant women and a greatly increased risk of having an autistic child. Moving forward in the 1980s and 1990s, a similar correlation was shown between viruses like CMV and herpes simplex type 2. It was shown that basically what the research implies is that viral infections acquired during pregnancy, vertical transmission can happen from mother to developing baby, and a viral infection can cross the placenta, infect the fetus, and trigger a neurological pathology, an inflammatory pathology in the brain. So recently, the same correlation and the same connection was shown between COVID-19 infection in pregnant women and a greater risk of having an autistic child. So viruses during pregnancy, they're an established risk. Moving forward from that, I kept investigating this, the link between viruses and autism. And I came across extremely damning evidence involving herpes simplex, the virus behind cold sores, herpes simplex type 1. And what the research was showing was that let me preface this. Viral encephalitis is where a viral infection crosses the blood-brain barrier and makes it into the brain and triggers an inflammatory pathology. There's multiple case studies showing healthy neurotypical people. They had no symptom presentation of autism whatsoever across various age groups, children, teenagers, middle-aged adults, that experienced a bout with herpes simplex encephalitis, where the virus made it into their brain, and that was the trigger for autism. Shortly thereafter, they started experiencing symptoms, and they went on to receive a clinical diagnosis, and after having herpes simplex encephalitis, they were autistic from there on out, the rest of their lives. So herpes simplex encephalitis was a direct trigger. That's a documented environmental trigger for autism. There's further research. I mentioned herpes simplex type 2 in pregnant women and a greater risk of autistic children. There was another really important study that came out examining autoimmune antibodies in the brain, viral infections, and autism compared to a healthy control group of children. And basically what the research found was that autistic children, let me back up 1 second. The global rate of herpes simplex type 2 is about 13%. So 13% of the population globally are carriers for herpes simplex type 2. In this particular study...
That goes up in places like Hollywood, just to let you know.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, Jimmy. I don't have no doubt about that. What the researcher found was that in the autistic group of children, 65% of them were carrying herpes simplex type 2, compared to a 13% global population rate. So that's huge. That's huge. 65% of the children in this study were carriers for herpes simplex type 2. And not only that, they tested positive for IgM antibodies, which are indicative of acute or active infection. Of these children that tested positive for herpes simplex, active herpes simplex infection, 96% of them had autoimmune antibodies in the brain. So this is considered strong data. There is a very, very high association here between viral infections, particularly viruses that have a preference for the central nervous system like herpes simplex and autism. There's a link. Any established, credentialed expert in the field will agree with me on that. They'll say, yes, viral infections are involved, can be involved in causing autism. The second aspect of my research was to, well, answer the question and investigate if viral infections are involved in causing autism, where do vaccines come into play? And when I started researching this and exploring the public medical databases, I came across a phenomenon known as vaccine-induced viral reactivation, which essentially it's where a person receives a vaccine and any dormant or latent viruses they're already carrying reactivate, and they begin actively replicating. And this can trigger various inflammatory pathologies, but in the context of the discussion on autism, if a vaccine reactivates a virus a child is already carrying, let's say like herpes simplex, that he may have caught from his mother or shortly after birth, that virus can reactivate and now trigger viral encephalitis. And
meaning, when, again, just so people know, when you say viral encephalitis, I've always understood to mean inflammation of the brain.
Right, okay. Exactly, correct, okay. Right. So to kind of bring it up to speed, viral infections are documented to be involved in causing autism, particularly viral infections of the brain. Common viruses like herpes simplex, that's a big one. What the research is suggesting is that these viruses are acquired during pregnancy, from mother to baby, or shortly after birth. And vaccines, and this is where we get into discussion on adjuvants or preservatives like mercury, but vaccines can reactivate viruses children are already carrying. And if a vaccine reactivates a virus and it makes its way into the brain, it can trigger viral encephalitis, which is a documented trigger for autism. This research has never been addressed or documented or spoken of by any of the other experts in the field. It's novel.
So let me see if I understand exactly what you're saying. You're saying that when a woman is pregnant and she catches a virus, the virus, let's say herpes, she can then pass it to her baby.
Correct.
And that's called vertical
transmission.
So then the baby's born and that virus goes dormant in the baby, right? And so,
right. Yep.
And then at some point along the 72 shots that babies now get, vaccine shots that they get, at some point, one of those shots reactivates that dormant virus. The virus then becomes active. It crosses the blood-brain barrier, creates brain inflammation or encephalitis, and that induces autism.
Exactly.
And then it would be the amount of inflammation or that equals the amount of autism, right? So
correct.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. As I was mentioning, there's been a lot of research. I saw your previous guest, Brian Hooker. There's been a lot of research on adjuvants. Or years ago, RFK Jr. was talking about the preservative mercury used in vaccines.
Is that thimerosal?
Thimerosal, correct. Ethyl mercury.
Okay.
But what's not being looked at and what was never answered is, well, if vaccines are causing autism, if it's ethyl mercury or if it's aluminum adjuvants, how come this isn't happening across the board? Why is this happening to some children and not others?
Oh, okay.
In my research, my hypothesis is that the biological variable is underlying viral infections like herpes simplex that children are already carrying.
And so do you think that, do you have a theory on what inside the vaccine triggers the reactivation of the virus? Could it be the adjuvants, meaning aluminum or ethyl mercury?
Right. Yes. That's entirely plausible. Really, when we get into a discussion on immunology, vaccines and their adjuvants or their preservatives, they trigger an allergic reaction. And when the immune system, to put it very simply, when the immune system is busy dealing with an allergy, it undermines the arm of the immune system responsible for addressing viral infections. So you're putting off an IgE allergic reaction, and now the immune system that was taking care of these dormant infections, keeping them viruses dormant, it becomes weakened, it becomes suppressed.
because your immune system focuses on this. No, so let me just explain to people what an adjuvant is. An adjuvant is something like aluminum that they put into a vaccine to make your immune system react because it's a poison, it's toxic. And so when your immune system responds to, so they have the vaccine, they put aluminum in there, your body sees that as a poison, toxic, it reacts to it. And you're saying that it reacts to that aluminum and that at the detriment to the rest of the immune system that was keeping those viruses dormant.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. That's the premise.
Okay.
That's the premise of my research.
And an adjuvant is put in there on purpose to make your body react that way, because that, under the idea of how vaccines work, that allergic reaction to the aluminum is what then makes the body or the immune system identify whatever was there with that aluminum. So let's say it was, a virus for a vaccine for like polio or something. So then when you inject the polio, you also inject the aluminum. So now every time it sees the polio come into your body, it's going to react the same way it did to the aluminum. Am I getting it correct, or?
Pretty much. Okay. Yeah, you're in the ballpark.
Okay, so I'm just trying to make it so average people who are C students like me can understand.
Sure. The basics of vaccines is that it contains an antigen, which would be, let's say, an attenuated virus or a deactivated virus. And then you have an adjuvant. And an adjuvant, primarily, it's to provoke an adaptive immune response. And that's how you develop IgG antibodies. But in order to do that, you have to disrupt innate immune function, the body's first line of defense. Because if you give someone a vaccine with just an antigen and no adjuvant, nothing happens. They don't produce IgG antibodies. They don't get sick. Technically speaking, they will not acquire immunity.
Okay. So it's and they've actually banned thimerosal, which is one of the adjuvants, right? And where are we with aluminum? Are they still putting aluminum in vaccines?
They are, yes, absolutely.
But they call it something else, don't they?
Aluminum is still being used. Ethyl mercury was removed. Ethyl mercury is still in the certain vaccines, like the flu vaccines, still use thimerosal.
Really?
But aluminum is still being used.
Really?
Yeah.
This is, wow, I didn't know this. I thought they got rid of it. Wow. Well, we know the flu vaccine, well, according to the latest study by the Cleveland Clinic, it makes you 27, if you get the flu vaccine, you are 27% more likely to get the flu and get sick from it.
Right.
It has what they call negative efficacy.
Yes.
Meaning you're better.
Yes.
You are less likely. You are more likely to get the flu and get sick from it if you get vaccinated. And they still recommend it up and down everywhere in every corner. Okay.
I think.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Jimmy. I think the most important aspect of this discussion, because there's a lot of people and credentialed experts that claim that vaccines save a lot of lives and they prevent a lot of transmittable illnesses. Okay. And on the other side of it is that there's a growing number of people saying that vaccines have injured them. Parents coming forward and saying that my child developed autism as a result of vaccines. But at the core of this discussion really is, in my opinion, what's creating susceptibility to viruses? Do we really need vaccines to stop viral epidemics? And when you investigate that and you go through the medical literature, you'll see that there are environmental risk factors and there are variables involved in viral transmission and disease. To put it kind of simply, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, during COVID, there were people that were being directly exposed to the virus before vaccines were introduced. Maybe, for instance, your wife or husband caught COVID, you're sleeping in the same bed with them, you're sharing close quarters, there's direct transmission, but they never test positive. They never get sick, and there's no pathology observed. And there's a lot of research showing establishing this same connection and exploring viral transmission on other viruses as well, like HIV. There was a really important study that came out examining people in relationships where one of them is a carrier for HIV. And they followed these people for several years. And in the entire study, there wasn't one case of documented HIV transmission from the infected partner to the uninfected, regardless of whether or not they were practicing safe sex and things of that nature. So as I was mentioning, I think we should be talking about what's creating susceptibility to viruses.
And
if
what
we
do you,
go down that,
what do you think it is?
If you investigate this and you look at the medical literature, that jumped out to me was exposure to heavy metal toxins. There's several studies in animal models and multiple in humans as well, but I'll give you an example. In 2021, a study was published looking at the connection between mercury toxin exposure and avian influenza, bird flu in birds. And what the researchers found was that birds that were being exposed to mercury from unchecked environmental pollution in California, they were 5 times more likely to test positive for the bird flu compared to birds that were not mercury toxic. And the researchers went on to conduct further tests, and it was shown that mercury exposure was disrupting the bird's innate immune responses. That's what was facilitating viral transmission and a subsequent disease process. There's other studies showing the same connection. Mercury exposure and increased risks of herpes simplex, heavy metal toxin exposure like cadmium, lead, etc., and increased risk for HIV or CMV or Epstein-Barr virus. So it's pretty well established that heavy metal toxins will greatly impact a person's immune response to a viral infection and whether or not transmission occurs.
Ooh. So
when you look at that research and then you look at how, go ahead.
So
Jimmy.
you're tying you're talking about when you say heavy metal. So would you consider the mercury and the aluminum they put in vaccines a heavy metal?
Yes.
Oh.
Mercury in particular. Absolutely. When you look at the research showing how mercury will impair someone's immune response to a viral infection, it'll suppress their viral immunity. And then you realize that mercury is being used in vaccines for nearly a century. That plays back into my original hypothesis. So mercury weakens immunity to viral infections people are already carrying. Potentially speaking, a child receives a vaccine with mercury in it, and if they're already carrying a virus, reactivation occurs, and potentially, if that reactivation occurs in the brain, we could see autism develop.
And so that's why. So the theory is, would you agree with so the more vaccines that we give a child, the more likely that child is to have a reactivated virus. And so that would be why we have such an explosion of autism since the 80s, since they passed that liability shield and they exploded the vaccine schedule from, 4 or 5 shots to 72. Would that be, is what I'm saying correct?
It's certainly plausible. When it comes to autism, just like any other disease and condition, it's multifactorial.
Right.
So even if we were to remove vaccines, we were to get rid of the vaccine schedule, we're still being exposed to toxins like mercury, cadmium, lead on a daily basis. A congressional report came out in 2022 showing that all the baby food in the country, even organic baby food, contained dangerous levels of heavy metal toxins like mercury, lead, or cadmium.
How could that? What? How could? Why? How could they? How do they not recall all the baby food? What? I don't. How could that possibly be happening?
I think the problem is so widespread that there's no choice to recall the baby food. Otherwise, we'd have issues with famine and starvation. Basically, essentially, it's unchecked environmental pollution contaminating our food supply. And the people involved, and the people really, our regulatory agencies are asleep at the wheel. The people running our healthcare institutions are beholden to pharmaceutical companies and politicians. So things like this keep happening. One thing that's in the ballpark, it's a little off topic, but it's in the ballpark. And Jimmy, I'll say this, is that one of the most significant events in the history of mankind is the fact that all of our body temperatures have dropped globally around the world. 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit was the average globally for over a century. And in the last 25 to 30 years, our body temperatures have all dropped. 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit is no longer the average.
What is it?
Estimates are between 97.7 and 97.9 degrees Fahrenheit. So we've dropped nearly an entire degree. And essentially what the research suggests, what the research shows is that our immune systems are becoming suppressed across the board, collectively as a species. Body temperature, a person's body temperature is one of the greatest indicators of overall immune function and what's known as basal metabolic rate, which is a person's ability to turn calories from food they're eating into energy. So when we see body temperatures dropping, really what we're talking about is we're talking about hormonal imbalances, nervous system problems, and metabolic disease and suppressed immune response to infections. So traditionally speaking, if a person acquires a virus or any type of infection, the response is fever. Okay. Right. And that gets into a discussion on a thermal exclusion zone. Infections are opportunistic. They cannot stand high body temperatures. So you mount a fever, it clears the infection. And what's happening is that because our body temperatures are dropping, viruses, infections are becoming chronic. We get into a discussion on chronic Lyme disease. We get into a discussion on long COVID. We get into a discussion on long Epstein-Barr. And our immune systems are suppressed. We're not mounting proper inflammatory responses to clear infections anymore. That's basically the nature of chronic illness.
So, wow. So this study really has far-reaching implications. Have you gotten this in front of Jay Bhattacharya or Dr. Marty Makary or RFK himself?
I actually have a paper on this, on our body temperatures dropping around the world, that's being peer-reviewed right now. But I created an investigative documentary series on this already. Episodes 1 and 2 are out right now. But to be honest with you, this should be making headlines around the world. I don't know why the people running our current healthcare system, whether it's Robert F. Kennedy Jr. or Jay Bhattacharya, aren't addressing this.
So have you tried to get this to them?
Not yet. I have to wait until my paper is published.
So it's not published yet?
My paper on vaccines is published.
Oh, so that's what I'm talking about. This. Have you gotten this in front?
Yes.
And so have you corresponded with them?
I've had correspondence with members of the ACIP.
Oh, okay.
And from what I've been told, my paper has reached Jay Bhattacharya.
Okay, so you haven't heard anything directly back?
I haven't, not yet, no.
Okay, well, I can make sure that all those people see this. So
I would appreciate that, Jimmy.
I just did a tour in Hawaii with Dr. Robert Malone. Speaking,
really?
Yeah, speaking about vaccine. We were there in aid of pushing a new a bill that would give the right of parents to opt their kids out of vaccines. So we did a bunch of public appearances.
I saw that.
Yeah, so I was there. He was there with me. We had, I love Robert Malone. He's a great guy.
Yeah, likewise.
So okay, well, I will get this out to all the people that I know. Put it that way.
I really appreciate that, Jimmy. I mean, you're already doing me a great service by having me on tonight. If anyone is watching this and they want to inquire, one of the biggest things you can do to spread awareness is to share this episode. Share it with friends, family, coworkers, anyone you know with an autistic child. Share this episode that you're watching now with them. Get this out there, because in order for this movement to work, it takes everyone being proactive.
Okay, well, I'm doing what I can do. I'm going to spread it as much as I can spread it. Let me know. Is there anything else that I didn't ask you that I should have and that you want to say?
If anyone's interested in following up further on my research, my Substack's a great place to subscribe to see how this progresses, which would be, you can find my Substack at healthuncensored.com.
Okay, healthuncensored.com. And where's this? So are you doing a video series?
On my Substack, I have a documentary series on the decline of our body temperatures around the world. I also have a video research presentation for my study on vaccines and autism.
Okay, and that's all available at your Substack.
Yep, healthuncensored.com.
Matthew Cormier, I really appreciate you doing this research. I appreciate you sticking your neck out, and thanks for making time for our show. And hopefully we can have you back on.
Likewise, Jimmy. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Wow, that was really something. Makes sense. Doesn't it make sense? It makes sense to me. Okay, if you'd like to, of course, I have all my jokes about this. Come see me in Lansing, Milwaukee, Albuquerque, Houston, Dallas, Salt Lake City, and Las Vegas. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Over to Steph.
All right, that was healthuncensored.com.
Healthuncensored.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and make sure to make sure Misha wants you to spread the news like herpes. Okay, so that's really important. I don't know why she thought that herpes was the best analogy, but I'm gonna, she's one of the producers here, and I defer to her. Uh-oh, Betsy's in the room. Betsy gets it. Oh my gosh. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Good to be back. We had a weekend. How about that halftime show? I Am the Boot. Best halftime show was the Stanhope halftime show.
Did you hear some people? Oh my goodness, some people. So I don't speak Spanish fluently.
You do sing it though.
Un poquito. And I saw translations of Bad Bunny's song, and it sounded very overtly sexual. Did you see those?
Somebody sent me this.
I saw it. I'm like, well, if that's what the words were, that's crazy that they were singing that. But I don't know if that's the real translation from his lyrics. Do you? I don't know. I have my gut is that someone's making that up.
All right, so
but maybe not. I don't know.
Somebody sent me. I don't know. A friend of the show sent me the lyrics, and the first line, verse 4 says, "My dick is being chased, and I want you to hide it. Grab it like a bonga. She took a pill that made her horny. She fucks in the Audi, not in the Honda." So they're catchy lyrics, definitely.
They're definitely catchy. They don't rhyme because they're translated.
Right.
But I don't know if that's the real. I don't know if that's the real lyric. I cannot believe that would be the lyrics. But maybe Jay-Z is the guy producing the halftime show, so definitely anything's possible. Okay, keep going.
All right, Dan Verite said Kerp Zamorano. That's a nice handle. Thank you for that one. Sound Chaser, good day. Kerp needs to find himself an Epstein Island goat mask. FSO. Good day to Steph, Misha, Jimmy, and Derped by Kerpt. Sound Chaser. Sounds like the media is manufacturing prepubescent consent. Gross. FSO. Right, at least Britney didn't end up as beef jerky. That's from FSO. Anyone who refuses to vote for the meteor that ends us all in 2028 is complicit at this point. Jenna in with a curveball. Betsy just came in and laid down in the studio with us. She doesn't do it that often, so it's a very big deal right now. The man with the glasses is a former actor. Okay, let's see here. The man with the glasses of child actor Paul Peterson from the Donna Reed Show. He runs the organization On Minor Consideration, which advocates for children in the entertainment industry. That's from Blue Rose Rocks. Thank you, Blue Rose. Much appreciated. How come that's not making enough noise?
Yeah, but did he send any?
Betsy, I'll put you out in a second. Oh, you'll come here. All right,
There's
ready?
no
Sit.
Proper jokes.
Down. Girl. Good girl. Good girl. She's pretending to listen to me. Moving on. In the 70s, the rock stars were adopting minors from their parents so they could leave home and go on the road with the band. Tyler, Page, Nugent, etc. Sound Chaser, thank you for that. Jimmy, we will always have the TYT camel toe segments. Oh, yes. They did such excellent reporting during the popularizing the celebrity camel toe. Oh, I remember Gasparian was so proud to post those. Neat. Hart, I sent you details about Wild Horse Fire Brigade. Considering you live in wildlife country, you should have its founder, William Simpson. Subject is horses. Thank you. That's from Hart. Come on, come see Kurt Metzger live as mentioned in the Epstein files.
Ah,
FSO.
I'm in there too.
Yeah, Jimmy's in there too. Sounds like the media is manufacturing. Oh, I read that one. Let's see here. Anyone? Oh, I read that one too. Search the Epstein files for the words like Illuminati, adrenochrome, targeted individual, depleted uranium, COINTELPRO, chemtrails, Beelzebub, etc. Interesting stuff in there. Hemp car. Patton Oswalt hosted a Comic-Con and joked that Finn Wolfhard, he had the greatest porn name ever, then told him to stay away from stranger thongs. Finn was 14 and visibly upset and mortified by the comment. And let me just break it down for you. So they were doing a Comic-Con, a panel with Stranger Things panelists. Comedian and moderator Patton Oswalt made a controversial joke. Then to 14-year-old Finn Wolfhard, referring to him as an actor born with the greatest porn name.
I do not shame comedians for jokes. So Patton Oswalt joke, I'm not going to shame him for the joke.
Oh, well, what they're saying is because he was talking to a 14-year-old.
Right.
And saying that Patton afterwards, after Comic-Con, said, why did it happen? Because I thought I was being funny, but actually a graceless asshole. I've since apologized.
Oh, okay.
And I hope learned.
Okay. So that's a stand-up thing to do.
Yes, but he did. You know, the only thing that I challenged Patton on, he didn't have anybody take a picture of him when he was writing the apology.
Oh, cut it out already.
That's the only thing.
Cut it out.
All right, back to Jimmy.
I like Patton. I like Patton. I like Patton also. I think he's one of the funniest guys I've ever seen. And he was always super nice to me. So.
Are you ready or am I still reading?
Where's Kurt?
Okay, back to Steph. Anthony, studies have shown that autism, a form of hypermasculinity caused by overexposure to testosterone in the womb. Jordan Peterson. Thank you for that one, Anthony. Now, this is interesting. Listen to this one, Jimmy. This comes from Dr. Wood. Oh, you got to hear this. Where are you going? Okay. A Yale-trained obstetrician. Yours was over there. You didn't see it? It's okay. Take it. Did you know, now we did know this, and I just learned this past year, actually. Bam. I'm Dr. Richard Wood, a Yale-trained obstetrician. Did you know obstetric ultrasounds cause thermal brain injury? I did not know it caused thermal brain injury.
They're not good for babies.
But they're not good for babies. They make them uncomfortable.
They're not good for babies.
And ultimately, I'm not a doctor. I've never had a baby, but don't do the ultrasounds. Don't do them.
They're not good.
Before the ultrasound era, autism was at 0.5%. Now it's 4%. Skip the gender reveal to decrease the risk by 8 times. You don't need to know their gender. I know it would be fun, but you don't need to do, I would tell, if I had any friends that were having babies, don't do the ultrasound. We learned that from one of our friends. This is nothing new. What happened with Britney, Stephanie, if you go back and read what Shirley Temple wrote, her interview on Larry King that one time, same stuff, different year. Yes, B-Man, I have seen that one. It not only happened to Shirley Temple going into one office, but it also happened to her mother, them trying to seduce them. And Shirley Temple talks about how one executive exposed himself and she couldn't stop laughing. Dr. Cormier's findings are terrifying. Please talk about data set 12 in the Epstein files. It's a diary of a girl impregnated by Epstein whose babies were trafficked as part of a eugenics program. What? Garavnos. Ugh. Our overlords were trying to make kids psychic, injecting aluminum in us and then placing us in gifted and talented programs to track the results. Savage. Flu season starts when everyone lines up for their flu shots. Nathan. Circumcision doubles the risk of autism in children under 5. RFK Jr. suggested it was because of Tylenol, but stress lowers the immune responses to viruses. Let's stop cutting babies. Future intact. Agreed. Why are we doing that? You can see bacteria under actual magnification. Viruses are always a drawing too small for magnification. It's all bacteria. Viruses are as real as dinosaurs. Fake. Mammoth. I got confused by that one. Commercial baby food is 100% unnecessary. Cook nutritionist food and use a food mill to pulverize a portion for your kid. Mine never had one jar of store-bought, and we are lower middle class, by the way. Mediocre witch. Hospitals still require all employees to either get a flu shots or wear a mask for 5 months, even if you have no patient contact. Total BS. Love ya, Susie. Jimmy, look into the mad cow disease epidemic in Britain and farmer Mark Purdy. That was actually another example of heavy metal toxicity and nutritional deficiencies brought on by the toxicity. Sir Cramptonian. Thank you, Sir Cramptonian. All right, I read that one. And future intact. I'll read it again. Circumcision doubles the risk of autism in children under 5. RFK Jr. suggested it was because of Tylenol, but stress lowers the immune responses to viruses. Let's stop cutting babies. Future intact. Thank you for that one.
A little crooked.
All right, let me see what I have up here. Heard
Okay.
Betsy can be a real biatch sometimes.
Nope.
No,
Not true.
Nathan. She is so sweet. It's crazy.
Okay.
We're very lucky. Now back to Jimmy.
Hey, you may have seen the conversation happening online lately. Censorship's back, and it's happening everywhere. Platforms are controlling narratives and pushing the stuff they want you to see. We need to fight back, and Rumble's the only company that has stood the test of time and deserves our support. One thing Rumble is challenging big tech censorship, but now, on the other side, they have introduced something that will give us protection from the big banks shutting us off. Banks can cancel our accounts, freeze our cards. So that's why they launched Rumble Wallet, a wallet that no one can cancel and a wallet that supporters can use to instantly tip creators like myself without any middlemen taking cuts. With Rumble Wallet, you control your money. Not a bank, not a government, not a tech company, not even Rumble can touch it. It's yours and only yours. Yours to protect your future and family. You can buy and save digital assets like Bitcoin and Tether Gold in one place. Tether Gold is real gold on the blockchain with ownership of physical gold bars. It's not only a wallet to buy and save, but it also allows you to support your favorite creators by easily tipping them with the click of a button. There will be no fees when you tip my channel or others, and we actually receive the tip instantly, unlike other platforms where we have to wait for payouts. Support my show and other creators by clicking the tip button on my Rumble channel. It's wallet.rumble.com. Download Rumble Wallet today, open an account, and step away from the big banks for good. Wallet.rumble.com or search Rumble Wallet in the app stores. Okay. Steph, you got another read?
Okay, sure. Let's see here. I'm trying to find the newest ones, but I don't have a lot here. Let's see here. What is this one? I sent you detail about the Wild Horse Brigade, considering you live in wildfire country. All right, you sent it to me. Thank you. I will look for this.
Hey,
All right,
Jimmy,
all right, stand by.
Sean Atwood on my show today said him and his family went to see you in Liverpool and you were very funny.
Oh, that's sweet. That's nice. Thanks for passing that along.
Yeah.
All right, come to me. JP Morgan expects gold prices to surge to $6,300 per ounce by the end of 2026. This comes against a backdrop where gold has already moved into record territory, having surpassed $5,000 per ounce just this year. According to JP Morgan, this is more than just temporary market panic. They believe gold prices are being supported by a structural floor created by central banks and large institutional investors, as well as underlying macro pressures like geopolitical uncertainty and diversification away from paper assets. Even after the recent price pullbacks, JP Morgan says long-term momentum remains intact. And then there's silver. Silver continues to trade in triple digits, reflecting broader precious metals momentum. Many analysts now see silver pricing entering a repricing phase, with industrial demand and supply pressures driving interest. Silver's dual role, industrial use and monetary metal, makes its recent move noteworthy. There's a big reason institutions are talking about precious metals. If you want to learn more, Monetary Gold has a complimentary gold and silver guide. visit jimmylovesgold.com or call 800-476-7790 to request their free guide. Okay. The craziest commercial I saw during the Super Bowl, which none of the Super Bowl commercials are even good anymore. Like they used to always be great. And now they're not. They're just not. I don't know why. I don't know what happened, but they're not. They're just that the most you can get, they're kind of interesting, or you're kind of surprised at how many celebrities they put in one commercial. But they're never really great commercials. But here's one that kind of sounds like a really good thing on the surface, but then we're going to talk about why it's not. So here's the commercial.
This is Milo. Pets are family. But every year, 10 million go missing. And the way we look for them hasn't changed in years. Until now. One post of a dog's photo in the Ring app starts outdoor cameras looking for a match. Search Party from Ring uses AI to help families find lost dogs. Since launch, more than a dog a day has been reunited with their family. Be a hero in your neighborhood with Search Party. Available to everyone for free right now. Join the neighborhood at ring.com.
Wow.
I don't know, but when we drop it, we'll take it off. So make a note of that, Andrew. Take off that music in the background. So, at first you're like, yay, they're using a little kid and her dog to make us welcome in the surveillance state. Basically, that's what they're doing. Yeah, the big tech moguls, they really care about your dog. Or your daughter, for that matter.
Yeah.
You don't register to them at all. By the way, wasn't The Ring a horror film about what happens to you when you do watch a video?
Yeah. Well, once you flood urban areas, such as the one I live in, with fentanyl-addicted homeless, suddenly you have to have a Ring cam just to watch your shit, and the whole neighbors can check on who's stealing mail. So it's been made necessary. But this isn't the first part. The first part was when we all joined social media to spy on ourselves 24 hours a day, the way DARPA intended. So every single social media thing, this is what I'm eating right now.
Yep.
Spy on yourself, you dumb bitch. That's you, America.
So
yay.
Yes.
Ooh, I'm getting sushi. Look at what I'm eating. Look where I am. That's why rappers die because they're too stupid not to know to not Instagram live their location. So that's how they die faster now.
So Jack Journeysy says, I read that commercial as a thinly veiled attempt to backing their already advanced in-place surveillance state.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, the majority of people would not accept this ludicrous trade-off. So he tweets out this, Flock Safety has deployed more than 80,000 AI-driven cameras across the United States and will launch drones this year to respond in real time to 911 calls and AI-triggered alerts.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good. And AI and that's why they don't care about what they released in the Epstein files, because they already got this in place. And if you don't like it and want to yell in an airport, fuck you.
That's right. And by the way, nothing's happening to anybody because of the Epstein files, just like nothing happened to anybody because of COVID, even though we know they lied about who funded the creation of that virus. They lied about where it came from. They bribed off the scientists to say it came from a wet mark. We know this. Fauci, do we know all this?
Keep voting, idiots.
These are facts. We know that the pharma companies knew that the vaccines didn't stop transmission or contraction when they told us that it did. We know this. These are all. So nothing happened to those people, just like nothing happened to anybody after 9/11 and Building 7. Just like nothing happened. Nothing's going to happen to. And so I just wanted to make that point. But here's and so this is what they say: flock safety. This is what it's called. This is a total flock you to your freedoms. That's what that is. The only way that the vampire can get into your home is if you invite them in. And this is what we're doing. If you know anything about vampires, which I do because I saw half of that movie I hated. What was it called? That movie with the vampires? The Sinners. So
Wakanda, the vampire movie, fuck that. Yo, here's some bright side to this. A lot of the AI is a complete scam and is Indians or Filipinos watching from
that
afar.
is correct. I wanted to do that story today about.
Yeah, because I have that joke about jerking off in Waymos, and that bombshell dropped about the Filipinos.
Yes.
I'm sure Waymo is asked about what I'm doing to a Filipino.
So here's just some of the, underneath that commercial on Twitter, here's some of the responses immediately underneath it. This everyone get a Ring camera and help us track your every move ad disguised as protect your dog ad. Imagine committing a thought crime and then your neighborhood activates search party so they can find you. Your surveillance state idea could be the first major breakthrough in pet recovery.
Yeah. Israel cares about my dog.
So now we're going to have 340 million people under complete surveillance 24/7 so we can find a dog a day. So they can find 330 million people in their total surveillance so they can find 365 dogs a year.
How many kids are missing that went over the border?
And
in the
how many
Biden
kids?
years?
There are hundreds of thousands of children we don't know
it's
where
not
they are.
30,000. It's like 300,000.
It's like
Something
300,000. I saw the testimony in Congress.
Oh, I thought it was only 30. So, okay, is that going to pop up on the Ring cam? Or just my doggy?
So here's another one. Anything to get the goddamn kids to shut up about the goddamn dog. Okay, I get that. That's funny. But under here, phone number sewn into the collar. Works great. No digital surveillance needed. I also just got, I don't know if this is going to work, but today I got delivered those Apple tags. And I'm going to put one around my dog's necklace so that if my dog gets out and I can't find him, I'll know where the dog is. That's my theory. Tell me why it won't. I don't know. Will it work?
I prefer an Israeli-owned company, which I would assume Flock is, correct?
Yeah, probably. So here, Steven in Vegas kind of broke it down for us. And here, I'll go through it for you. He says, you don't understand the privacy nightmare that Amazon unleashed on America a few years back, but you should. Last night on the Super Bowl ad, Amazon, who owns Ring cameras, bragged about how cool their tech is. If you use Ring cameras, you should understand what the Amazon Sidewalk network is and what the implications on your privacy is. Imagine if somebody ever accessed to network where every single camera in every house near you is all connected to one another, sharing data that you don't know that it's sharing. Well, I would just say it's time to get a really good disguise. Like, get yourself a special Woody Allen floppy hat that everybody can immediately identify him with.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Gilligan hat for Woody.
Essentially, Amazon created a closed source wide broad network across your entire neighborhood where every camera within range of another camera or Amazon Echo device ties themselves together and shares bandwidth and data and information. Imagine a network that tracks tens of millions of devices, cameras, locations, trackers, Echo devices, glass, brake sensors, facial recognition, as demonstrated in the Super Bowl ad. And we're putting all of our trust into one company here. That's Amazon, who, let's remember, has billion-dollar deals with the CIA and the Department of Defense. So they are the deep state, okay? Data breach, you better hope that never happens, because anybody in that network has access to everything in high-definition video happening all across the network at all time. Not to mention, we don't know how Amazon handles court requests and privacy in terms of the government tracking whatever they want to track. All of our technology has trade-offs. The fun part about this, when it was rolled out in 2021, Amazon made this user opt out. So you had to go in specifically to tell it you weren't interested in enrolling in it, or else it just happened passively on you. Now, I have a Ring camera, but I don't have it hooked up. The video part, I don't have it hooked up. So I have my own security cameras that go just to my house.
Oh no, we have the neighborhood because the hobos here steal mail and beat up your packages. The meth fentanyl heads that are here on purpose because it drives real estate value down. That's how these real estate companies make money. They put a soup kitchen, drive the price down on houses they're not supposed to be able to buy, and then they get it cheaper. That's how the scumbag real estate works here. So it's valuable to the neighbors. So it's done. This is done. It's already in. Don't worry about it. You're being, even if you didn't do this, Jimmy, don't worry. They've got you. Don't worry. They got 20 plans.
I know they've got us. Well, we know after 9/11, Edward Snowden let us know that they're tracking every phone call, every text, and every email that you send or receive. They're collecting.
Yeah. Ain't nobody jerked off camera in this country in the last 30 years. That's a fact.
They're collecting it.
It's not just Jesus.
When people used to use Skype, there was a scandal that they were looking at you through your Skype camera.
Yeah.
There was a scandal about this.
Cool. I always wanted to be famous. And
now,
everyone's such an idiot in this country. This is a country full of cows.
Whoa. This is wild.
Wow. Barely above Canadians. That's what America is. Barely. That's how low Americans are.
Whoa. Wow.
Barely.
So, I know it made it at first. You're like, "Oh, that's great," and you're like, "When I saw it, I was like, this is bad.
Yeah,
this is bad, and this is to save one dog a day." Everybody wants to save dogs. Everybody wants to save dogs. I want to say I love dogs.
Yeah. How would you stack it up, Jimmy, against the anti-Semitism Super Bowl commercial?
Oh, I didn't. You know what? Wow, that's right. I could have played that too, but I figured everybody was going to cover that one.
It was one of the dumbest. I mean,
I know. I know. It's not. First of all, it wasn't anyway. I don't even want to get into it.
If only that the Jewish people could somehow get some kind of institutional power. If
they could only get some institutional power,
maybe it would stop. The people who set our foreign agenda, by the way, the Wolfowitz Doctrine, is his name something other than Wolfowitz? Am I unaware? Unreal.
Okay, over to Steph.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy. Let's see here. Thank you for bringing this guest on. He's very intelligent and everything he's saying is making sense. Think he's on the nose with all of his research. That's venepolism. Thank you for that. Can we avoid pricking children altogether, vaccines and otherwise, Cadmus? Is there a reason the Epstein victims won't name names? If they did, people would rally behind them. The NDAs can't be enforced in crime. Everybody already knows who they are, so their identity isn't an issue. SSG Frago, I hear you on that one, amigo. Hold on, let's give you a gong. Chuck Todd, Podesta Pizza Party post 2016 election, saw your show, can't find an archive. Do you remember? Mark Lipman. Chuck Todd, Podesta Pizza Party post 2016 election, saw your show, can't find it. I'll have to look for that. I'm not sure what that recommendation is. Let's see here. I'm making sure I didn't miss these. All right. Steph, since Jimmy is in the Epstein files, can we call you Steffrey Epstein now? No, Dan. No. Okay. Belego. Thank you, Belego. Very nice. Elise Bono. Thank you. I'm not sure what that means. How do we buy preferred seating for the Dallas show? Do we have a link for the Dallas show yet? Oh, we do have a link. Go to the link. Try the link there. And yes, you can find tickets for a meet and greet as well. Buster Blue Sun. Check out the link. All right. My mom always made us burn the illness off. No fever reduced. Retired RN. Nina can't. Why give babies poison to eat when the mother has the baby food in her breast? America does it a lot more than the rest of the world, too. No wonder you all talk like fruitcakes and your shit's all tarted. Oh, Corn Pop coming in hard today.
That's from Idiocracy.
Okay.
Remember he goes to the doctor.
Back to Jimmy.
Tucker Carlson noticed what we noticed here, right? So here's what we noticed. We noticed that Pizzagate was real because of the Epstein files, right? So if you don't know what Pizzagate, so it came from John Podesta's email. Was it Tony Podesta or?
Let me make sure.
Which is the Podesta that worked for the Clintons? Was it Tony or John? So the Podesta emails got hacked, and in it,
yes, John Podesta.
And all these references to pizza and grape soda, which people then said, well, it's obviously this is a code word for something.
There'd be no redactions otherwise.
Right. So we know this, that, and so they had to immediately make talking about Pizzagate toxic, like you were the craziest person in the world, just like I was slandered when I asked normal questions about the Seth Rich murder. They put me in a hit piece in the Washington Post because I was asking normal questions that every reporter should have been asking, but they made it so toxic that everybody was afraid to ask questions about it, except me. And the reason why they were afraid, and that's why they put me in that article to signal to everybody else, you better not talk about this. And so that's the same thing that happened with Pizzagate. You can't talk about the pizza or the grape or the fact that the people who debunked Pizzagate then got arrested for graping. Okay? For doing the same thing to toddlers that they said they were debunking.
Yeah.
Journalist who debunked Pizzagate pleads guilty in horrific CP case.
Yeah.
So just to let you know, disgraced CNN producer jailed for 20 years for abusing 9-year-old girl.
Oh, that was Chris Cuomo's producer. Did they mention that? That was Chris Cuomo's producer. Yeah. That's probably one of his handlers.
So just to let you know, so Tucker now, just as we noticed that pizza and grape soda was mentioned over in the Epstein files, he also noticed it, and he has some questions. Let's listen.
This is an exchange between Jeffrey Epstein and, we think, a urologist, and I'm quoting, and they're going back and forth on stuff. And he says, I'm back. Can call you in Stendra 100 at Zitmer. Now, Stendra is apparently an erectile dysfunction drug, and he's prescribing it to Jeffrey Epstein, who apparently needs it. And Epstein writes, how many? And the doctor writes back, 10.
And then,
call yet? You have refills available. Call them back. Thanks. They wanted you to call, Epstein says to his urologist about the erectile dysfunction drugs. The doctor writes back, I just did. You can pick them up now. And here's the line that inspired the segment you're about to watch. After you use them, after you use the erectile dysfunction drugs, after you take Viagra or its equivalent, we're quoting, wash your hands and let's go get pizza and grape soda. Call me. So to all the people who dismissed out of hand this conspiracy theory about Pizzagate, it had nothing to do with sex or kids or anything illicit at all. It wasn't a code word. They was eating pizza. Here you have, apparently, Jeffrey Epstein's urologist telling him that after you take your erectile dysfunction drug, after you become sexually potent again, wash your hands and join me for pizza and grape soda. Okay, now. You don't have to be a total wacko to see the connection between a pizza and grape soda and what sounds like some kind of illicit sex act, again, committed by a guy with a documented history of illicit sex acts with young people. So the obvious question is, what is this? The second obvious question is, has anyone in federal law enforcement talked to the surviving member of this text exchange, which would be this guy, Harry Fish, whoever he is, apparently now a pharma executive? Has anyone talked to him, not arrested or indicted him, but just like sat him down and said, hey, pizza and grape soda after taking an erectile dysfunction drug? What were you talking about? Speak slowly so we can understand into the microphone. Has that happened? Are federal law enforcement officials doing their best to stop the sexual abuse of young people? And that's kind of a baseline requirement, you would say, in a civilized country, that federal law enforcement make a good faith effort to stop people from molesting kids. And maybe this isn't evidence of child molestation, but if it's not, what is it? What is it? And is anyone trying hard to find out what it is? We would hope someone does really soon. And more broadly, what does this tell us about one of the most amazing stories of the last 10 years, 2016, the WikiLeaks dump of John Podesta's Gmail account? There was a lot in there, a lot. We were told the Russians did it. We ended up going to war with Russia over that. Really, that's when the whole Russia thing started, was in that story. But now that we've had 10 years and now more information, like, should we reassess what that really was?
Again, they'll, just like they told you were crazy if you asked questions about COVID or the vaccine, just like they told you were crazy if you said that we were funding Nazis in Ukraine, just like they said you were crazy if you thought that Assad did not gas his own people, just like they said you were crazy if you had any questions about how Seth Rich, his botched robbery turned into a murder. Remember, they said it was a robbery where they didn't take his wallet, his watch, or his cell phone, or any of his money. That's not a botched robbery. That's a straight up murder. That's not a botched robbery, and that's why they won't release Seth Rich's computers till this day, 10 years later. I
never even thought of that, what you just said, Jimmy. That's crazy. They keep calling it a botched robbery, and no, it's not. So he's just murdered.
It's just a murder.
Oh, my God.
There was no robbery. It's a murder. He was.
So that's how you know he's murdered, and it's not a botched robbery, because they said botched robbery. That verifies it right fucking there.
Right there. And it gets a lot darker. We don't need to get into that, but they did the same thing. They did the same thing.
It's all verbal tricks.
To people talking about Pizzagate. And here, I'll show you this again. John Podesta's friend who debunked Pizzagate, arrested for doing the exact thing that they said Pizzagate was. Slade Somer, editor-in-chief at The Recount and friend of former Hillary Clinton campaign manager John Podesta, was arrested last month for doing that to multiple toddlers and babies.
Whoa, I thought only African warlords did stuff like that, Jimmy.
So now
turns out they do it.
So now there's for some reason there's people who are making it their business, their primary business, to slander the victims of Jeffrey Epstein while protecting the PDF files who did the abusing. And one of those people who are slandering the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and protecting the PDF file network is Michael Tracy. And he thought this was a big own on me. So we covered this because we do what the mainstream news won't do. We'll tell you about the Pizzagate stuff.
What is his own? Will you read it?
So he's saying alternative media is a failed experiment. He meant that I was doing a bad job when he's in the middle of doing the establishment media job.
Michael, you greaseball. Do you see the irony? You being a guy who I've met in person who literally looks like a failed experiment. Do you see the irony? You homunculus.
So while he is slandering Epstein victims and covering for the PDFs who victimize them, he's also going after anybody who tells the truth about it.
I wonder if we can Tracy him back to some Intel cutout.
Yeah. So,
what a scumbag. Well, you know your enemies, everyone. The people that are trying to downplay this are your enemy. That's your enemy. Anyone telling you this is boring or a nothing burger, or they've released tons of evidence that Epstein acted alone, that is your enemy. That's your enemy. It's not the black people and or the Jews or the white man or the women. This fucker right here, and everyone telling you not to make a big deal about it. That's your enemy.
I mean, nobody's saying that Michael Tracy has been compromised by the very group he should be investigating, but they are thinking it.
He's such a fat Kurt's saying it. I thought he was just a fat loser who's into teen girls, and so he's freelancing. But this is so beyond the pale that he must work for someone. That's all I can think of. Maybe there's another explanation, but him and Nick Fuentes, the two lowest sexist shit I've seen talk about this yet.
So, and then he also then tries to discredit me by lying, saying I openly campaigned for Donald Trump, which of course I didn't do that. He just makes it up.
Oh, so he's working for somebody, because that's the kind of lies you make when you're working for somebody.
So if alternative media is a failed experiment, why would this Mr. Journalist keep blatantly lying to try to slander someone? Because that's what he does.
By the way, the fact that Trump got in, don't blame anybody else.
Just like he slanders the victims of Epstein, and then right underneath that, people say it amazes me that so-called independent journalists would run interference for the Epstein class by going after Jimmy Dore. I mean, anyone with a couple brain cells can look at the files and figure out Pizzagate was real, and they used food as code to communicate with each other regarding child effing.
Yeah.
Michael said boldly on alternative media. ... Michael said boldly on alternative media while attempting to stake a claim of being an authority on alternative media. Michael is an alternative, all right, to the point of self-cancellation.
He'll be fine. He's working for somebody. Why, now that we know that Pizzagate is real, everyone, why are you bothering to watch the Super Bowl or worry about the halftime show or worry about the midterms? Now that you know that these two assholes from two fake sides hang out with cannibals, and that's real, you dumb fucks, why are you engaging in your day-to-day life?
So,
who am I mean, not the Jimmy Dore audience, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
Michael Tracy, really. Anybody that would follow that. Does everybody think that this shit didn't just come out? This is the externalization of the hierarchy written about by Alice Bailey. The hierarchy being pedovores. That's who rules you. Unreal.
It's kind of unreal.
Jimmy, a lot of people I know got a lot of I told you so. There's going to be no justice. But the juicy I told you so's, Jimmy, from me to my friends. They know it's coming, but I'm holding back. I'm letting it build up. I'm edging my I told you so's, Jimmy, so I can unload on their face.
I think you go a little hard on Steve Bannon, but other than that,
he's no good. He's no good.
I think
you don't have to go along with it, but that guy, this and the fluff piece on Epstein, which I
think this shows you that it says everything to me about Chomsky, because Chomsky would go out anyway. I don't want to get into it.
They're all the same. Don't believe in none of them. They're all the same.
All right. We gotta jump to Rumble now.
Oh,
right.
Yeah. Yeah, are you ready to do that?
Yeah, I'm ready to do that.
All
Are you
right.
ready to do that?
I'm ready to do that, Jimmy.
Okay, let's go to Rumble now.